Greetings, fellow Empyreans. I am Ashrothi, and this is a Doctor Who event guide addendum. That's right. Apparently 2 hours of video explanations of things is insufficient to teach you everything that needs to be done for this event, and we have now made it a couple of days into the event, and so I wanted to give you guys an update and kind of fill in some of the gaps of our knowledge. So first and foremost, what I've noticed is that a lot of players have failed to understand kind of the nature of this event. Most of the previous events, you know, there are sites that you go and do, or there's tasks that you go do, but you basically, like, there'll be like a harder site in low sec and an easier site in everywhere else or whatever. And so, you know, the normal people go and just grind on the ones in high sec or whatever, and the hardcore people go and do the harder version and make a ton of money, right? That's the basic premise of most events. Well, in this case, this is a journey, okay? You don't just go and start. You don't say, okay, well, I've got my level 4 fit and I'm high skill, so I'm just going to do level 4s. It's not how this works. And also, buying your own way to the keys, while the prices are going down, it is still better to just go on the journey yourself and start building these things. So I recommend you do so. It's a lot of fun once you start digging into it, but I wanted to help you guys get started. So in the beginning, you have the relic exploration site, which is a level 1 relic site. What I recommend doing is picking a territory. I have about a 7 jump path that I've gone along, and I scan every single signature along that path. So that way, you know, a lot of people, when they first start scanning, they don't find any relic sites and they're really upset. But if you think about it, this makes sense. You're new to the area, and relic sites get ran very quickly. So most of the sites that you're going to be scanning are going to be something else, a wormhole, a combat site, etc. You want to scan these down and at least identify what they are, because then your scanner will keep that information until you get logged out again. So you go through your territory and you scan all the signatures, so that way when you need a site, you can go through that territory again, and if there's any new signatures, you know that there's a high probability that is one of the sites that you're looking for, right? So that's one of the ways that I've been able to hunt effectively for sites. The other thing is that you got to get away from the main trade hubs. You got to get away from other places. There are other creative ways of doing it. I haven't heard of anybody doing it, but I thought about people, you know, yeeting out to nullsec using noise filaments and finding the cans out there because it's all quiet, and then you know, coming home either through Pochfin or wormholes or whatever. Or there's a lot of people, given the fact that you use Tech 1 exploration frigates, which are basically, you know, like what, 2 million ISK or whatever to fit up. While the sites are the same no matter what band of space you're in, right? They have the same loot, they have the same amount of cans, you know, etc. The sites spawn more frequently in low sec. So if you're willing to, you can go out to low sec and find a whole bunch more sites, but just beware that if there's other people in local, there is a really good chance that they've already pre-scanned the site, or they're waiting for you, or there's some sort of trap. So go find somewhere quiet, find some signatures. The other key is that once the first can within the hacking site is finished, the site despawns, right? Not the site itself, but the signature for the site, which means after a few seconds after you finish the first can, no one else can scan the site. The only people that can come in are people that already had it scanned and finished, or saved. So, you know, what I like to do is when you land, there's usually a large can and a small can within about 20 kilometers of you. I used to go after the large can first, and if there is somebody else in the site, or if I'm competing very tightly, I will go after the large first if I see that it's available. But if it's just me, I'll beeline directly to the small, hack it really quick to close the site, make it so that nobody else can come in, and then I can just do it at my leisure. If you are doing it in a dangerous area, they can still technically combat scan you, so keep an eye out for combat probes. But otherwise, you know, that site is now yours, and you can just finish up all the cans. Now, everything that you need to build the Curious Filament is in these sites, but only the Curious Filament. So you're going to be getting X13 X17, X31, and X37, right? You're going to be getting these things as well as time crystals, and eventually you can also get the Curious Warp Matrix Blueprint, which is, so you're going to combine all of those things plus a little bit of titanium and pyrite in order to build your Curious filaments, okay? Chances are you're going to need to build more than one Curious filament in order to get past this stage. You know, if you can go and do enough sites to get like 3 or 4, that's probably going to be good. Some people have had difficulty finding the BPCs. I did not. Some people have had I've ran low on certain materials just because of how much it consumes. But if you are having difficulty, these are dropping in price. Chances are you could buy the piece that you're missing. But honestly, you know, you're not going to have to do the scan sites forever, like all the time. So this is just that initial phase. Now, once you start getting into the Curiouses, it's Curious and Precarious is kind of the same tier, right? Precarious being the first level of combat site, Curious being the first level of exploration site, or well, technically second, but first level of exploration filament. So from the Curious, you're going to be collecting the 71, 73, 79, and 97. Now, I think that 97 is only from the Precarious. I could be wrong. I don't. Oh shoot! I didn't bring a. Let me see real quick. Oh nope. Yeah, 91 is not necessary for Precarious. So chances are, oh yeah, of course, it is gotten from the Precarious. And then so you collect these up, and that allows you to build the Enigmatic. This goes there. Enigmatic, which I don't have any of because as soon as I get them, I run them. And a Hazardous. You'll get the blueprints for these as well in the Curious stuff. So you get all of these plus the blueprints for this tier. And actually, I've gotten quite a few Mysterious and Dangerous in the Curious. So at this point, you're now starting to collect the most of the pieces to get deeper. In the Enigmatic and Hazardous, you're going to get Z113 and Z149. Another thing to note is that as you go up the tiers, you're going to get lots of the previous tier, right? So you think that these are rare now. You kind of run low. I've run on low on X's a few times, but you know, you can see I've got giant piles of stuff that most people would think of as being super rare and hard to get, like the 79. Because once you start running Hazardous, Mysterious, and Dangerous, they come in like with huge amounts of some of these lower tier mats. So it's one of those things you got to move your way up, and then you can better produce the lower level stuff, and then you're able to run those more frequently, and eventually that allows you to be able to run the higher tier and then move up. So yeah, the 113, 147. Oh, there's also one other material. I think it's Y107. Y107 is also gotten on the Hazardous Enigmatic tier and is required for the Dangerous Mysterious tier. And then finally on the in Dangerous, not in Mysterious, but in the Dangerous, you can also get the Z167 and Z157. Those are what's required for the Perilous. And the Perilous is, of course, the top tier. And all indication shows that the suits, like the actual bow tie outfit and the scarves and all that stuff, are going to drop in Perilous. We haven't seen them anywhere in any of the upper tiers. Or lower tiers, I should say. So this is what I mean by it's a journey, right? So you slowly start to build your collection, and then you can, you have your blueprints, and you build what you can, and you build what they ask you to. I only ever go out to scan and hack if I need it for a task, although now I'm done with all my tasks. But yeah, so once you get past there, where you're able to consistently start to make hazardous and enigmatic. And really, once you build your first Mysteriouses come with so much loot. It's like 40 million ISK worth of salvage, like real salvage, and then a ton of like the Doctor Who stuff, a couple of skins, whatever. But so once you can start getting Mysteriouses, that's your like big prize. The combat stuff doesn't give you very much. The combat filaments don't give you very much stuff because it's just the one, the one can provided by the killing the saucer. Whereas obviously these come out with a lot, and the Mysterious have massive cans, which are harder than even normal red cans. These are the difficulty of sleeper sites. So this requires the most sophisticated hacking equipment and application of things like the rule of 6 and understanding how the hacking game goes in order to succeed consistently with them. But the loot, like I said, is very good. By the time you're getting to this tier, you're starting to get to like real money-making stuff. It just takes you a little while to get there. And obviously, this event is a while, so once you get up there, I plan on farming these for the next few weeks. However, if you are having difficulty, especially if you're an alpha, a couple things. First of all, the black glass neural implant is relatively cheap and gives you a plus 20 virus strength bonus. Virus strength is super critical because it's what lets you break through. If you can kill a defensive node, then it does not do its damage to you. So having a higher strength bonus just means that you can trivialize some nodes, and it makes like a lot of nodes into like 2 hits instead of 3, for example, which is a big deal. But here's the thing. This only affects data analyzers. So you can't actually just use this with your Relic 2. It doesn't work. But there is a extra one. If we look at data, if we look at a data analyzer 2, we can see that it actually has some variations. As the Literature, the Zegma, and the Frostline. Okay, so the Zegma and the Frostline are the ones that most people are looking at, right? So if you let's go to compare. To compare these, what you're looking for is, of course, virus strength. So the Purloined Sentry. Ignore that. Of these 3, because these 3 hackers are both data and relic. They have reduced like inventory slots, so you can only pick up 1 item in the game instead of 3. But they work as both data and relic analyzers, which means this black glass works on it, right? So this Zegma is 30 strength, and so is the data analyzer 2. So if you're really wanting to like push it over the edge, you can get a Zegma and a data analyzer, a relic analyzer 2, and a black glass, and it will make it significantly easier for you. It will make an alpha hack like an omega. It'll make an omega be able to break through even the hardest cans with relatively low sweat. You also, of course, get 2 chances. So even if something like totally bogus happens, you can usually have a better luck the next time. So then on the combat side, I wanted to show a couple of things. First of all, I've been using a Rupture fit. This has been pretty successful. I got it from Matthew. Thank you. It's dual rep. It's good to have these countercycled. It is cap stable. So, and the newt pressure is not as bad as you would think, especially with a battery on it. The big thing is that when it goes to the higher tiers, you're going to have to deal with the turrets. Well, we'll talk about that in a second. So, but I'm not 100% sure if this is going to work in tier 4. It does survive tier 3. However, I used a little trick, which is that these armor repairers hold on. Yeah. The air repair boosters, which are given out as part of this event, they increase your reps by reducing the cycle time. Now, this can actually impact your cap stability because it's cycling faster, which means it's drawing your cap more often. But this can be a big deal, especially in the higher tier rooms, especially at that very beginning period when all of the turrets are up. But the big key is that this is a slot 16 drug, which means you can use it with the standard agency hardshell booster. So this allows you to get a bonus to your rep amount, depending on which level of dose you have. And it's a slot 11. So this gives you repair amount. This gives you repair duration. The two of them together make your tank significantly better. So that can help a lot. In addition to that, there is one thing I've noticed is that the combat sites are always the same layout, both in where the bad guys are and where the accelerators and decelerators are. So getting used to that is a smart idea. In tier 1, obviously, it's very cake. Tier 2, you have the 2 towers. The 2 towers are on the opposite ends of the battlefield and are near the wall, which means that you can actually you can beeline to the closer one, kill it, and then charge through the wall, and you should jump in within 20 kilometers of the other tower if you do it right. In the tier 3, it's basically the exact same, but instead of 1 tower, you have 2 towers. The towers have almost no hit points, so as soon as you can hit them, you're good to go. So either using some sort of long-range weapon or just beelining out there. There are 2 towers in each side, but they're together. So once again, you just beeline the closest one, kill them, jump through the wall, come in out the other side, kill those 2 towers, and then come in. This is another reason why I strongly recommend you do these with a buddy, so that way one buddy can stay in the middle and handle the saucer and the Daleks that spawn, whereas not you, but the other person can charge after the turrets and kill those and then come back. The Dalek spawns also seem to be basically not as random as I thought they were, although I'm not 100% sure on that, and I also don't know the spawns of the higher tiers, so I don't really want to speak to that quite yet. But I have noticed in the hazardous, the tier 2s, that the spawns seem to come out in the same number each time. And it does escalate. So, at first you get 2, and then you get like 4, and then 5 in the wave. And of course, there's more Daleks as you go up. So those turrets do massive amounts of damage. You've got to get them down. They hit for you from anywhere. And on top of that, the Daleks are doing their damage. So handle the turrets, clear the Daleks, and work on the saucer whenever you can. That's pretty much how to deal with the combat sites. And the last thing is that for people who are wanting to just quickly be able to remember, there is a fun little memory tool for remembering the combat filaments. It goes PHDP, which means Dr. Peril. PhD being a shorthand for a doctorate, right? So it is Doctor Who. So that hopefully helps you remember PHDP, Dr. Peril. All right. Well, if I have anything else, I will, of course, put it up on the videos, and I have some highlights coming up, and whatnot. If you have any other advice, tools, good fits, or whatever, go ahead and share them in the comments below, and give me any ideas of topics that you want me to cover in future videos. But until then, I have been Ashrothi, the voice of New Eden. Thank you all for watching. Till next time, I'll see you in space. Thank you to all my patrons and everybody else for their support. I love you guys.